A very good evening. It's Sunday, the 30th of April 2017, and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mutanayaka. Let's start off with a look at stories making headlines this evening.
Preparations in full swing ahead of International Workers' Day. Special traffic plans in place for Colombo and Kandy tomorrow. Sarath Fonseca responds to detractors over new position. Will Sri Lanka be edged out of domestic LNG sector?
And now the stories in detail. On the sidelines of a Sinhala Tamil New Year celebration in Paliguda today, Minister Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca expressed the following views.
Various political cartels are exploiting the current situation in the country through trade unions and other means to propagate certain opinions and to sabotage an essential service. They are attempting to create hardships in day-to-day life and use that to topple the government. We believe that these cartels may cause terror and create space for assault and property destruction. The President is of the opinion that the government must be prepared. The opinion expressed there was whether I could also take up some responsibility in such an event. Minister Rajitha said that you would be given a certain position, but afterwards Minister W.D.J. Seniviratne convened a press briefing and said he spoke with the President and that there was no such position and that Rajitha Seniviratne was lying and that he was foolish. SP Disanayake said it was a joke. There are various opinions and various accusations against you. What is the real situation? I respect SP Disanayake as a minister, but he has turned his political life into a joke and sees everything as a joke. From time to time we need to be serious as well and consider matters with some depth. John Seniviratne is a minister who licks Gotabeya's slippers. He sees Gotabaya in his dreams. So when such an idea was put forward, he was afraid that a blow would be dealt to Gotabaya, that the Rajapaksas would be suppressed and that their agenda would be destroyed. So the Seniviratnes would have to make some sacrifice and stand on their behalf. We will not take any note of what the two of them have said. If I wanted to do that, I had the power to do so in the past. With the army I had, I could have done anything I wanted. In one night I could have blocked Colombo 7 and taken over the country, but I am not a person who thinks that way. We are people who have led disciplined lives.
Political parties, trade unions and civil society organizations are preparing to celebrate International Workers' Day 2017 at several events organized for tomorrow. Newsfirst crew toured the capital city today inquiring into preparations for May Day rallies. The SLFP's May Day rally is being held at the Academy grounds in Kandy this year. The rally will commence at 2 p.m. under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena, while processions will make their way to the grounds via the Gannoru Road and Sirimao Bandaranaike Mawatha.
We have created space for all workers, disregarding whether they are Sinhala, Tamil or Muslim, to participate in the processions and let their voices carry to the world. We selected Kandy as a mark of respect for the people of Kandy.
The UNP's May Day rally will commence at 2 p.m. tomorrow at Campbell Park in Colombo under the auspices of party leader Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The main procession will travel to Campbell Park from Maradana.
We are prepared for change. We are prepared to bring change to the people of this country. This is a theme which has been proposed for tomorrow.
The Tamil National Alliance will hold a May Day rally at the Dharma Sangari grounds in Akkarepattu tomorrow under the auspices of opposition leader R. Sampanthan.
We are holding this May Day rally to grow relations with workers and to build unity. We will work together with all workers in Sri Lanka to secure workers' rights.
The joint opposition's May Day rally will be held at the Golf Face Green in Colombo under the auspices of former President MP Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The forces including the Sangha, Veda, Guru, Kamkaru and war heroes will be at Golf Face Green tomorrow. All the war heroes who saved this country will be coming here tomorrow in wheelchairs. Religious leaders including the entire Mahasangha will be coming here.
The JVP's May Day rally is being held at the BRC grounds in Colombo this year too. The main procession will commence from SDS Jaisinga grounds in Tehiwala. The Democratic People's Movement will be holding a May Day rally in Jaffna tomorrow, led by Minister Rajitha Senaratne.
We are holding our May Day rally in Jaffna tomorrow morning. We are holding this as the May Day rally connecting the north and the south because it is very difficult for comrades in the north and east to travel to Colombo.
MPs and ministers from the SLFP visited the Gattabay grounds in Kandy today on an inspection tour ahead of their May Day rally. Now, following the inspection tour, they expressed these views to the media.
We will be holding a model rally which will have a crowd that can fill 3 goal face screens. Gatambay is where all the SLFPers and the people who love the party will be. They will all be coming here. We form the Blue Brigade together and all of them too will be at the Mahanama grounds in Gatambay. It has already been reported that more than 30% of party leaders and representatives will be here. Minister Todnaman's party, Minister Atauda's party, all these people and the group including Douglas Devananda will be here.
Douglas Devananda, අපේ හිටපු ඇමතුමා മന്ത്രിතුමා ඇතුළු කණ්ඩායමක් සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා. කම්කරු ක්ෂේත්‍රයේ අපේ වෘත්තීය සමිති ක්ෂේත්‍රයෙන්
Proposals are being put forward by our trade unions and by our workers. A proposal has been put forward to extend maternity leave for women. Our party will be adopting this resolution. We will not hesitate to use state power on behalf of the workers.
රාජ්‍ය බලය පාවිච්චි කරන්න බය වෙන්නේ නැහැ කම්කරුවන් වෙනුවෙන්. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ මහිපල පාළිය ගැටමේ පවත්වනකොට
When the SLFP's May Day rally is being held in Gatambay and GLP's party is inviting SLFPers to their rally, aren't they the ones attempting to split the party? Do not deceive the SLFPers in the villages.
රවට්ටන්න එපා කියන ආරාධනාවත් මේ May රැලිද අපි ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා. නෑ ඒ පිළිබඳව අපි මධ්‍යම කාර්ක සභාව
No, the Central Committee will hold talks about this and make a decision. We do not wish to punish anyone, put pressure on them or keep them in the party forcefully. The Central Committee made a decision to extend a general invitation to everyone.
The joint opposition convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
The current government is not using the goal face green. Usually it is the government that is strong. At present, 2 major political parties are in government, but they are not using the goal face green. As the joint opposition, we are using the goal face green amid 1,000 obstacles.
අරගෙන මේ මැදින රැලිය පවත්වනවා. දහසකුත් බාධක මැද තමයි මේක පවත්වන්නේ. මේ පිට්ටනිය ගත්තේ අපි ලක්ෂ 10කට ආසන්න මුදලක් ගෙවලා.
We booked this ground after paying about 1 million rupees. Various conditions are being imposed. They have imposed specific conditions for specific locations. We cannot work with their conditions. The golf face green is 4 times larger than Gamble Park and the Gatambay grounds combined. Through this rally, you will be able to understand the response to this government.
Addressing a United National Party media briefing in Colombo today, its General Secretary Minister Kabir Hashim commented on the joint opposition's May Day rally at the Golf-Face Green tomorrow.
The joint opposition requested for a large location from us. They thought we wouldn't give them the Golf-Face Green, but the Prime Minister immediately recommended that it be given to them to hold their May Day rally there. A parliamentarian from the joint opposition said the Golf-Face Green wouldn't be enough to accommodate the number of people attending the rally and that they might also have to use the port city or even further. But when I saw Golf-Face yesterday, they were setting up the platform in an area which does not even leave 30% of Golf-Face remaining. So I wondered that if this was the kind of space they needed, we could have easily given them a village cemetery for them to hold their rally. We could have even given them the volleyball court of Visakha Vidyalaya in Colombo for them to hold their May Day rally.
Special traffic plans have been put into place in Colombo and Kandy ahead of International Workers' Day, which will be marked tomorrow. 15 May Day rallies are being held in Colombo and surrounding areas this year. Pradeepa Mawati Maligawata will be closed from the Jumma Masjid Junction to the Sangaraj roundabout tomorrow from 9 am to 5 pm. Baseline Road will also be closed tomorrow from the Dematagora Junction to the Borala Junction between 1 am and 6 pm. Sri Saranankara Road will be closed from the Pamankara Junction up to SDS Jayasinghe grounds in Devala from 1 pm to 4 pm. Vehicular traffic will not be allowed from 1 pm to 5 pm from the Ibangura Junction towards Slave Island. Vehicular movement on the Maradana Road up to Borala Junction, Sangaraja Mawata and Panchikawata Mawata will be limited between 11 am and 5 pm and on Sumanatissa Mawata between 9 am and 5 pm. Vehicular traffic will also be restricted from 11 am to 3 pm on Saunders Road and from 6 am to 10 am on Meedu Mawatha, the Gunasingapura Junction, Beach Road, Adhikarana Mawatha Junction and Bank Mawatha on the Panchkawatha Road. Vehicular traffic will be restricted between 1 pm and 5 pm from Ceramic Junction to Golfers Green in Kolpiti. The SLFP's May Day rally is being held at the Gatame grounds in Kandy. Processions will travel on the Gannuru Road to the Gatame ground and on Sidima Bandanayak Mawatha from Peradeniya to Kandy to the Gatame grounds. Police say that these roads will be closed from 6 am tomorrow.
We appeal to all motorists travelling through the Colombo city, Peradeniya and Kandy to use alternate routes. 7,000 police officers have been deployed throughout the Colombo city for security. Across the island, another 9,000 officers have been deployed for traffic duty, including officers in civil attire. Close to 20,000 police officers will be deployed in Colombo, Kandy and other areas. 2 special operations centres have been established. For any emergencies in the Colombo city area, you can call 0112 433 333. To report any incidents in Peradeniya and Kandy, you can call 081 22 33 333.
Speaking in Ambalantata today, former President Parliamentarian Mahinda Rajapaksa had this to say.
We fear whether there will be a country left for us when we see what is happening. Some people are constantly asking questions about the debt burden. This is a baseless lie. We did not have any debt burden whatsoever. We took loans within our capacity to make repayments. In these 2 years alone, this government has taken about 10.5 billion in loans. These were short-term loans repayable in 12 months. The loans we took were repayable in 20 years, 25 years or even 40 years. There is a difference in the situation. They are stuck now when trying to repay their loans. They have done nothing. We cannot see anything that they have done with the 10.5 billion that they have taken in loans. Someone must have lied to him because he is unaware of the figures, or he has uttered a baseless lie. How do we calculate this 10.5 billion he mentions? When we came into power in January 2015, the debt that had been accrued by him and his government that we had to repay was $7.5 billion. Then there were loans which they obtained in 2013 and 2014 which were added to this. In some cases, countries receive a grace period before they have to make repayments. So there was $800 million in loans which he had obtained which we had to repay. Another $825 million which Mahinda Rajapaksa had taken in loans was added in 2016 when the grace period ended. So the cumulated debt of the Mahinda Rajapaksa government amounted to $9.3 billion. In addition, in 2015, our government obtained loans to the tune of $500 million. In 2016, we obtained loans to the tune of $650 million. So it was a total of $1.15 billion. So all this together amounts to $10.5 billion. He's asking us what we have done. We initiated the Morgahakanda project. We also initiated the Kandy Expressway project, for which the foundation stone has been laid and work is underway. As a former president himself, I call on him to not deceive the people in this way. This is simply a deception he is carrying out to get people to come to his rally tomorrow.
You're with News First. The Sri Lanka Coast Guard has seized a boat carrying 14 Myanmarese nationals and 16 children 12 nautical miles off the coast of Kankasanthore. Navy media spokesperson Lieutenant Commander Chaminda Walakulage said 2 Indian nationals were among those on board the vessel.
The vessel was escorted to Kankasanthore this morning and those on board were subject to medical examinations. The Navy media spokesperson added that 2 newborns, aged 15 days old and 4 months old, were also on board the vessel. The group of Myanmarese nationals travelled to India 4 years ago as refugees. Lieutenant Commander Walakulage said the group is currently being interrogated.
The government is planning on making LNG or liquefied natural gas a primary source of energy for the country. But will we gradually lose our rights in this sector? This is a News First investigation.
Proposals have been made to construct 2 LNG power plants in Sampur with India and Japan instead of a coal-fired power plant. The government has also called for bids to construct a 300 megawatt combined cycle power plant in Kerawalapitia. The cabinet-appointed procurement committee has informed investors that the power plant must function on diesel fuel for the first 3 years, following which it must be converted to use natural gas. It has been stated that the government will undertake supplying the LNG and that a separate modality will be worked out for this. Minister Chandamavira Kodi said several weeks ago that a cabinet paper had been submitted to carry out the work necessary to import natural gas, store and distribute it. Against this backdrop, an MOU was signed during Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's recent bilateral meeting with the Indian Prime Minister. The MOU deals with several matters concerning the use of LNG in Sri Lanka. The Sunday Times today published the MOU signed between the Indian and Sri Lankan governments. As per the MOU, both governments have agreed to complete joint projects in Sri Lanka, including a regasified liquefied natural gas-fired 500 megawatt power plant, an LNG terminal and floating storage regasification unit, a piped gas distribution system, retail outlets for supplying compressed natural gas to the transportation sector, and the conversion of liquid fuel-based power plants to LNG-fired power plants. The modalities for these projects are to be worked out between the two governments at the earliest as per the MOU. The government has decided to give two 500 megawatt power plants to India and Japan. What was discussed was a joint venture between India, Japan and Sri Lanka to supply natural gas for these two power plants and another power plant in Kalinithissa, which will be converted to LNG. All that has been discussed so far is that investors from all three countries will be given an opportunity. The percentages, other matters and the investors will be discussed in the near future. Sipetco has been unable to repair the refinery. While Mahinda spent $3.4 million on a festival, he was unable to secure $500 million for us. The same problem persists now. Renovating the refinery is a serious need. If they are saying in the meantime that an LNG facility will be built in Muthurajavela, that is good. But this is only a proposal. There are no state funds for this. They have not said how Sipetco will acquire the funds. The President made a clear statement that MOUs will not have any validity until proper agreements are entered into. What are the agreements? Is there permanent ownership? If ownership will revert to us after several years, how much are we to invest? What are the dividends the investors will receive? These matters must be placed before the trade unions and the country very clearly. They are attempting to get into a joint venture with India and Japan to supply LNG and operate LNG power plants. What we have learned is that Sri Lanka's stake in this is even lower than 10%. This will be a serious problem in the future. If we give them everything to obtain their technology, our rulers, our entire country and us will become theirs. We cannot let them commit this crime. We call on the government to first reveal what their share of this public-private partnership will be. How will this affect Sipetco and how will it ensure the future energy security of this country?
The
following statement was made at a media briefing convened by the Left Centre today.
Raj Rajaratnam was a prominent businessman residing in America. He was the owner of Galleon Group. He was arrested in 2015 for the damage he caused to the American financial system and economy through his hedging fund. The court said that he must be sentenced and punished as an ordinary citizen, no matter his status as a businessman and no matter how big an investor he was. Have we been able to do the same? For several years now, we have been passing around the central bank bond incident. We have been unable to punish the guilty parties as yet. The guilty parties are using their ill-gotten gains to invest in other businesses and expand their businesses.
රටක සම්පත් රටක දේපොළ ජනතාවගේ දේවල් සොරා කරනවා නම් ඒක බලු කපුටෙක් වෙලා උපදින්නේ ඍජුව තීන්දුව ගත යුතුයි.
Direct decisions must be made. The government has a responsibility to take legal action. Tomorrow is May Day. The political parties getting on the May Day stage must keep in mind that millions and billions were defrauded from the EPF and ETF through this bond incident. The government must pay attention to these matters too.
Financial donations to construct homes were made today to those who were affected by the Aranayaka landslide and to those who were evacuated from high-risk zones under the auspices of Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premdasa.
A financial donation of 16.3 million rupees was made to 1,000 families under the provisions of the National Housing Development Authority. A group including Minister of Public Enterprise Development Kabir Hashim attended the event, which was held in the Aranayaka area. If you look at the media as well as all print media, It is Sarath Fonseca's new role which has made its headlines. Well, there is no such role. It is a lie. However, is anyone talking about the fact that Sri Lanka won 436 votes in favour of granting the GSP Plus concession at the European Parliament? Just for a moment think, if Sri Lanka would have been able to win 436 votes under the previous government. We have got this concession today because the whole of Europe as well as the entire international community has accepted this national government led by His Excellency the President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
A memorial event was held in Batticaloa yesterday to mark the 12th death anniversary of slain journalist Dharmaratnam Sivaram.
A gathering including opposition leader R. Sambandhan graced the occasion. Many journalists have been lost to our country. Many journalists have been lost to our community. Shivaram, Nadesan, Sudarshan from Tinkamali, these individuals exposed the truth when it came to numerous matters involving the community. They were killed because they spoke the truth and wrote the truth. The truth of the murder of Shivaram is yet to come to light. I think this truth must be revealed. Lasantha Wickrematunge was murdered. Prageeth Eknaligoda disappeared. Investigations are underway and the truth must be uncovered. While the government has not turned its attention to investigating the murders of Tamil journalists, the government must not forget that they too helped to change governments. The government which came into power to govern in the name of democracy must not forget the slain Tamil journalists and must search for their killers too, just as they are doing for the Sinhala journalists. Investigations must be held into the killings and intimidations of Tamil journalists. They must have justice. Their safety must be secured.
The recent events on a United Airlines flight in the US caught the attention of the entire world and raised several questions about the treatment of passengers. A similar incident occurred here at home in Sri Lanka when passengers on the early morning train from Colombo to Bandaravilla faced a decidedly unpleasant experience.
The 10:35 train from Colombo Fort reached the Kandy railway station at about 8:50 am when authorities from the railway department ordered passengers in one carriage to switch to another carriage, claiming the carriage had been booked. Tensions flared when passengers refused to move. They have made a mistake. It does not say anywhere that it has been booked. Making people get off after they embarked on a journey is wrong.
We embarked on the train in Fort. When we got to Peradeni junction, they're saying the carriage has been booked. Then they started beating the children in this carriage and kicked them out. The security guards at the railway station. The children got off and left.
The station master is responsible for this. 2 boys on board this carriage were beaten mercilessly. These people are witness to this.
These children are sitting on the floor. Is it only the money that matters? We use public transport because we are not people of means.
Please assist us to resolve this problem. Even the police have come and a major problem has occurred.
As the conversation continued, the train resumed its journey to Bandaravilla.
There is a boy on board and his ticket is with me. How will he get off in Bandaravilla? The 3 of us are here at the Kandy station and they are on the train. We are going to Hatton. They kept us here forcefully and then sent the train. The problem was not resolved.
Our correspondent noted that the railway authorities had promised to book the passengers who disembarked on another train to Bandaravilla. There was an argument over the removal of the passenger and the train arrived in Kandy from Peradeniya 20 minutes late. Security personnel and railway staff had intervened in this matter. When I went there and informed all the passengers who had embarked on the carriage without authorization, they all switched to their carriages. The train was delayed by 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas has won the Russian Grand Prix, his maiden win in Formula One racing. Bottas held off a charge from Sebastian Vettel to finish first, while Kimi Raikkonen completed the podium. With more sports news from here at home and across the globe, up next is Sports Roundup.
Sri Lankan long-distance running champion Gayantika Aberatne has won gold in the 800 meters event in stage 3 of the Asian Grand Prix Athletics Championship with a time of 2 minutes 28.7 seconds. Nimali Leon Arachi won the bronze in the 800 meters event.
Early on in the bulletin, we presented to you the views that were expressed by Minister Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca on the subject of the position he has been reportedly offered. Let's take another look at his response to one of the questions posed by the journalists present. With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
If I wanted to do that, I had the power to do so in the past. With the army I had, I could have done anything I wanted. In one night I could have blocked Colombo 7 and taken over the country, but I am not a person who thinks that way. We are people who have led disciplined lives.